Hello.
Hello.
It's been a glorious February day today. Beautiful sunshine, clear skies, which probably means it's going to be freezing overnight and a hard frost in the morning. So John, I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes.
How many meetings do you think you've been in your entire career?
Well, in what I would call my corporate part of my career,
When you had a proper job?
and I had a proper job, thousands. I wouldn't like to say how many really.
What percentage then? Well, I put you on the spot, but I suppose what I'm getting to is we all are involved in so many meetings, and meetings can be brilliant, and you leave it like, that was a great meeting, we made progress, we made decisions, we moved forward, and you come away feeling energised, or you come away thinking, what was the point of that?
Yep. Well, to give you an example, today I was working with a pharmaceutical giant, an absolute colossus company, and American company, but globally based.
Okay, so sure enough.
What's
your point, love?
The point is, we were talking about how you should have time to prepare in order that you can create your confidence to go into meetings and presentations. And I suggested that perhaps it was better not to do back-to-back meetings. And then half of them nearly fell off their chairs and said, our bosses expect us to go from one meeting to the next for 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
When do you actually get to do
Well, you don't.
the actions that come out of the meetings?
You don't.
That is very common though, isn't it?
It's very common. Yeah.
And how often do you find in our training sessions, either face-to-face or virtually, it's due to finish at, say, 2 o'clock, and people say, I've got a 2 o'clock meeting, so I'm going to have to leave at 5 to.
It's constantly. Like... And often the back-to-back meetings are in different buildings, so how does that work? Yeah. And then people say...
And when do you go to the loo?
Oh, well, I don't organise my diary, someone else does, or people just pop it in my calendar and I just accept it.
Yeah.
So first of all, there's something about giving yourself time to be prepared for a meeting, to arrive appropriately early, and know that meetings can drift sometimes, or that you shouldn't organise a back-to-back from 2 seconds after your meeting's finished.
Don't you think it's funny as well that most meetings are an hour or whatever?
Well, it's all organised by Outlook, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So you just book this, like the chunk of time.
And also, the meeting systems, the software that runs buildings, is probably half an hour as well. So you have to block out, either a half an hour slot or an hour slot because of the software. But
it doesn't mean you have to use all of that.
Nope. No. So why did you ask me about how many meetings I've been in? Well,
just to demonstrate how meetings, certainly in the corporate world in particular, like you just said there, drive so much of people's working days. Oh. It's like, oh, John, we need to have I need to pick your brains about X. Right, let's book a meeting. And we book a meeting room, not us, but, people book a meeting room, it goes into Outlook. Why? You don't always have to have a meeting. Why can't we just talk about it now? Or why can't we just go for a walk and a chat?
But then what people do is they say, we'll talk about that, which could be 10 minutes. And then they say, Brian's coming, or Deepak's coming, or whoever. And they're going to do this. We're going to talk about that now as well. And it becomes this scattergun approach to what we can do in the hour that we've got. And then I've heard people say, why don't you attend a meeting? This meeting, you might find it interesting. And I just like loud alarm bells go off.
Some people are terrified of missing out, aren't they? I was listening chatting to somebody last week who has just taken over a sales team, and it was his first team meeting, and he wanted to do things differently. And how he ran it is he said, right, everyone, just John, who's the most difficult customer that you've got right now, or a customer that you're struggling to move forward with, and let's just bounce some ideas around. And he said it was the best meeting even though he organised it, so it was one of the best meetings ever. He said because previously all they did was, right, John, what's happened in your area this month? Yeah. Right, Frank, what's happened in your area this month?
So you're
and everyone just sort of zones out because they're like, well, I don't care what's happening in your area. Why are we reporting this?
Yep.
Just send it in an email.
So what you're taking us to is some of the thinking published by a chap called Kevin Hall,
who we mentioned on one of our latest
Yeah,
other
he's
walkie-talkies.
written a couple of books, runs a training consultancy, stuff like that. Anyway, he wrote a book called Making the Matrix Work, and in there he did some research on meetings, and he found an awful lot of meetings is just a complete waste of time because they're just updating, which is what you've just explained to us.
Yeah, if you're gonna update me, just put it in an email and I can read it in my own time.
I once went into an organisation and the agenda had been left in the room that I was in from the day before, and it was an 8-hour long meeting plus an hour for lunch, and it was 8 people with 8 1-hour updates.
Oh God.
And Kevin Hall says, and I agree with him, just update by email. Make meetings work by making decisions. To make decisions, you've got to have the people that can make decisions or give information about how you make the decision in the room.
And generally, people aren't that good at making decisions either. But that's maybe another conversation. So what's your view on any other business?
Any other business should be... I've got a couple of things. So any other business should be banned because we should have had that issue raised by email prior to the meeting.
So it's relevant, it goes on the agenda.
If it's relevant, it goes on the agenda. If you do any other business and celebrate someone's birthday, fair enough, we're human and that's okay.
I've heard some people put it at the beginning of the meeting, which is quite a different take.
Yeah, I heard some people do that, but why would you bring a new subject to a meeting?
Yeah. And usually, if it's at the end of the meeting, it's that can of worms, isn't it, that opens up and it's like, oh my God.
The other thing this chap Hall says is that often meeting rooms are so scarce in organisational buildings, physical buildings, and we carry on doing meetings by getting in a room together, that managers end up booking a year ahead their meeting rooms. Because if they don't, they won't get them with a month's notice. Then he says, well, what then happens is, even if we've got nothing to discuss at the meeting, we still have the meeting, which means people fly, travel, this, that and the other, and we end up looking in each other's eyes, but nothing gets done.
Well, of course, more and more meetings are going virtually now with Skype or WebEx. And I had a conversation this morning with somebody, and he said, what's crazy is people are spending so much time in virtual meetings, but no one's been given any guidance as to how to conduct yourselves or how to run a virtual meeting. And I said, well, we've got stuff on that. We've got a workshop on running virtual meetings. And he
here
said,
comes the advert, folks.
No, no, the point was, he said, but Catherine, no one calls them virtual meetings. They say, I'm going on a WebEx, or I'm going on a Skype, I'm going on a Zoom. And I thought that was really interesting. And somebody had put on LinkedIn the other day that they'd overheard a comment of somebody saying something like, this is a complete waste of my time sitting on a WebEx. And I thought it was really interesting that they used the term sitting on a WebEx. Not like taking part in a...
No, because people don't include people. There's that famous clip, isn't there, of a conference call and all the things that go wrong, which they show you it happening as though it was in a real meeting room. And it's on YouTube or something, but and it is classic. Most people think they don't want to be there. Most people have got other things that distract them.
Well, most people are using the time catching up on emails.
Yep. So
I've seen you on a conference call once. You were I saw you in the garden digging, and I came over to say something, and you went, "Shh, I'm on a conference call."
Well, that's my previous employers.
It was a long time ago.
But if you only need to listen only, I'm going to get on with other tasks.
But then you're not actually.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
active.
if you're not involved, you're probably not paying full attention. So there's definitely some space there around making any sort of meeting better. I mean, you go into some meeting rooms, don't you? And you've got like the rules on the wall. We don't interrupt each other. And
like a football referee thing, yellow cards and red cards. Yeah. People take that up and it lasts about 5 minutes, and then they stop and it all gets a bit childish. What we should do is talk about the culture. In teams should talk about the culture of their meetings, what we're actually having a meeting to achieve. And for me, it should be 2 things: either discussing how we're working together effectively as a team and our progress, or making decisions about how we move into the future, or perhaps both. But it is good to have meetings in order to catch up, have that human contact, even if it's virtually, as a team.
Yeah. But you want a bit of energy in a meeting, don't you? People often, we've all done it, you walk into the meeting room, or you dial into the virtual meeting, whatever it might be, but you sort of get your feet under the table, you lay your stuff around you, usually.
Set your castle up.
Yeah, set your castle up. We've talked about this before, 1, 2 or 3 mobile phones and great, some biscuits, maybe, and some coffee. Right, I'm settled in now, and it's...
Yep.
You want, a really vibrant meeting, people are sitting on the edge of their seats, And
well, you and I work a lot in big organisations, and that's great. How many times do you walk past the meeting room or look out of a London building across on the 24th floor into another building, and there's 18, 20, 22 people sitting around a meeting room table?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, now, if it's a drop from the CEO to everyone in the room, that's fine. But if it's a meeting, how can 22 people interact in a 1-hour meeting?
And how much is that costing the business?
Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of us forget is every second, every minute, every hour costs. And is that time, that meeting, putting money back into the business, or is it draining money from the business?
If you talk to a lot of people who are in that 22, they would tell you that it's not worthwhile them being in the meeting. If they'd read the minutes afterwards, having been taken, it would have been perfectly sufficient for them to carry on doing what they need to do in their job. They did not need to be in the meeting.
I have to say, we're not against meetings. We're sort of really railing against meetings.
Make meetings work is what we're saying.
Yeah, make meetings work. I overheard part of your meeting with Rajesh this morning, and it was probably, 10-minute, 15-minute?
At tops, yeah.
And it was like, bam, 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 yeah, agree on that, brilliant, let's move on. And it felt like quite a focused, energised
Yep. We just looked each other in the eye, got on with it, got it done, finish.
Well, we've got a meeting tomorrow morning, and absolute hypocrites. We haven't got an agenda, we don't know what we're talking about, so we need to fix that.
We're actually going to sort this out, because
we need to fix that.
I don't feel in control, and I don't feel... Anyway, we're going to sort that out.
Yeah. Right, we're back on hard ground now, so let's sign off. Until next time, let me just bring up the thing. Okay, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.